doing so amazing. You know, so I left this weekend with my girlfriend, Michelle. We went for a women's conference, and when her husband picked me up, he said, how are you guys doing? Like, how are you doing in real estate? And I'm like, they're crushing it. It's crazy. Things are amazing. And he's like, are you kidding me? He goes, because I just got off the phone with, and I won't say who it is, but this person has been doing real estate for a long time. And he's a broker, it's a male, and he's dying. He doesn't know what he's gonna do. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, our agents are doing this and doing that, and it's just amazing. And I was talking about all this stuff. And then later, Wes got a call from this man.
What did you say before? I think it broke up, at least on my end. What did you say before you said he's dying? Like he
hasn't gotten a paycheck since December.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Established agent.
Established agent, probably a little newer than Wesley, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. So I was just like, wow.
That's very not super uncommon too this time of the year, though. A lot of people take their foot off the gas in November, December, and then you kind of got to start over. Like real estate's a 3 to 6 month pipeline. Like if you were to start today, usually 3 to 6 months of working for you fill up your pipeline and things start coming through. Unless you're on flex and you get after it crazy like Misty Matthews, then maybe you can bump that time frame up a bit. But yeah, it's a common kind of the ebb and flow of real estate. I mean, I know I did that my first couple of years, did really well in the summer.
I mean, my last paycheck was December.
Yeah, was it?
So, but I was also moving, so I kind of put a lot on hold.
Yeah, you had other priorities and life stuff going on, so that makes sense.
I'm making
good for you though.
Now.
Yeah, good for you. You jump back in strong. So well done. And it's not a bad idea sometimes to be taking those little breaks, whether it be for life priorities or just to kind of balance yourself out. But then you come back strong and yeah, ride the momentum through the year, hopefully. So cool. This coaching or level up is gonna cover SOI and kind of re-engaging with past clients. More so just, as always, kind of an open forum. I have some things that worked for me in the past and some things I've seen that are working for others more currently. But Misty, did you have any other quick questions? And if not, we can kind of take it offline after the meeting too. I know you had a little list.
No,
and Friday, I'm not doing an open forum, so I'm not going to be able to field a bunch of questions Friday.
Okay, just one quick one about my agent on Rudy mentioned it. It was my agent, and he was saying how we can like share our profile. I thought I took it down, but I didn't. You need like you could click on it.
So let me see, because I don't work it off the phone too much. I do it more from the website. But essentially, like when you get connected with a lead in Zillow, they're going to automatically give you, I think, a 6-month My Agent connection. The lead can decline. It's still a little gray to me how this happened, because I think they changed the process here and there. And you ask different people on Zillow and they tell you different things. Like I had no idea it gets extended for another at least 30 days, he said, I think it was, when you message them between like from Zillow. But essentially, for example, let me just show you real quick, because I think a lot of people get confused on this. This is a lead that the My Agent connection is established. You'll see right here, it says, Nina confirmed you're working together. You'll be your agent till whatever here and there. A lot of times, this is the first time I haven't seen it, it will ask you if you want to extend it. But it's confusing because a lot of times it looks okay like this. So this is when the connection has expired or the person has declined it. So this is where you could like re-invite them by hitting get started. A lot of times this will be up before it's expired. Unless they've changed it again. Let me see. So let me find a better one here, hopefully. One sec. Let's see. Okay, so this is an example of what I was looking for. It's the agent connection is there, but it's still like it almost presents it like you need to ask them something to make it happen, but you don't. It's already established until August. This is just if you want to extend it. So I wouldn't send this until close to that date. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Because yeah, then you give them an option to decline it as well. They might not even know it's established, or like I think a lot of times the leads don't even understand what's going on with that. So that's the only thing there. Does that answer your question, or
Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool. And I think you can do the same thing from the phone. It's just going to look a little different because it's coming out of the app. And then I think he had also said something about, I have this all noted, but like you can, well, yeah, you can request reviews from here. Where was he talking about the QR code though? Oh yeah, from your public profile, I think is where, this is where you can add like leads that aren't part of Flex. So if you just had personal leads, you wanted to enter into Zillow as your agent, you can actively working with an agent. When you work, your agent can also give you. So, but I remember he showed a QR code. I'm on the admin account, so maybe that's why I can't see it. Because
So that part that you were just doing, Patrick, where it was saying work together like people that are non-Zillow. So my question I had about that was, when you do that though, I was nervous about doing that because I have clients that are not Zillow, right? Not leads, but use Zillow. And so, but I was nervous to click that because I'm like, well, what if they start, then they expect a cut from the commission. And I just wanted to make sure I wasn't setting myself up for something I didn't want to do.
Yeah, no, you'll be safe because they can tell where these leads, they know which leads are Flex or not.
Okay.
So I think also when you add them, then I assume, and I assume pretty strongly about this, that when you
Patrick,
add
you
them,
can be my pretend lead and start searching,
yeah.
and I'll add you and then I'll see what they do.
Actually, no, that's really not a bad idea if you want to do that, because then I can get a feel for the process on the back end, like from the lead side. So we can better kind of coach or instruct on how this works.
Yeah,
I
I didn't want to
doing
ask him and then him feel like I'm trying to dupe Zillow out of money. You know, it's like, well, no, they're a personal lead. So I want to make sure they stay a personal lead.
Yeah, no, definitely, no, for sure. We don't need to, Zillow's great, but we don't need to give them any more than we already are at all. But yeah, so I think if you do that, and we can do that. If you want to do me as a little ghost lead, fake lead, we can do that. And then essentially when you go to your leads, again, I can't tell you exactly how it is on the phone, but something similar when you're in contacts on the actual platform, the website, then they would show up in all contacts and they wouldn't show up in the Flex. So this is how it should be. But I'm quite positive, like Zillow's not going to be doing anything. They're making enough money. They don't need to squeeze, and they don't want to screw over their best partners. And he was very clear on that for sure. So you can utilize Zillow as a premier agent. Because also, if you weren't part of Flex, you could do that. You could, if you were just had your Zillow profile, you could add your leads into there, and therefore you're not, contracted to pay anything anyways because you're not part of Flex. So yeah, there should be no issues. But if you want to run a ghost one with me, let me know. I'm happy to do it. Just let me know as we do, and I'll be sure to, do my part on the back end, and then kind of record and log it so we can instruct everybody about that. Because it's a fair concern, and I wouldn't be surprised if several others had the same. Sweet. Any other questions, just kind of in general questions before we jump over into SOI and past clients? Are you guys really interested in learning about that today, or more kind of just some questions? Because we can definitely jump into it.
I am.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Sweet. So I guess that's how we kind of like to start these, more so kind of open. So is there anything either of you, and anybody jump in whenever they want, but have done either that you've done that you've had success with, or not, things that you've tried with Reengaging with, we can kind of group it all together, SOI and past clients, and or anything you've seen done that you liked or thought might be good to implement. And did you put your hand up there, Misty?
Oh, no, I was saying goodbye to somebody here in the office.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So I know, but Misty, before this, you were doing a lot of like sales you were working for Team Fast too, or Twin Oaks?
Yeah, so Team Fast for
Okay.
a year, but I didn't do any like Zillow stuff, just my own, just referrals.
Okay, okay, cool. Okay, cool. So you were selling your SOI or your past client database. What are any things you've, and this is no like test or nobody's judging anything here, but what have you done in the past to kind of stay engaged with your SOI, past clients? Anything
Nothing.
unique or nothing? Just
It
little
is so bad.
touches?
It's so bad because I've had my license so long. No, I've never even had a CRM. It's so bad. So like last year when I got 3 listings like back to back, it was just, I guess people were just thinking about me because it's so bad that I missed out on some business too though, because everyone's like, oh, Misty, we didn't realize you still did, this kind of real estate. We thought you were just doing like the asset stuff. And I was like, darn, so I missed out on like 3 sales.
Okay, that's a good live and learn right there though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Won't happen again.
I think we're all guilty of it at some point in our real estate careers if we sold house. I know I was really guilty of it. It was probably one of the things I was hardest on myself about in real estate, like because I build these great relationships and, I'd always do a kind of an after dinner thing with them, but then I pretty much just chase the next squirrel and kind of forget about them. And then I would start feeling guilty about it and not know what to do and like not feel bad for not reaching out, blah, blah, blah. The truth is a lot of times they don't know that. They don't know what your plans are, that your plans are to stay in touch with them and nurture them and stuff. So I kind of realized that too. I lost a lot of business when I was in the industry. And when I got out, I could have gotten a ton of referrals by being more in touch with I probably sold 90 plus properties in my last few years. And, those would have all been potential. This still could be referrals that I could be getting. But there was some things we did as a team that we had some good success with, and Gina Marie's a master at this stuff, the pop buys. We did a lot of holiday pop buy stuff. But those are usually more towards the end of the year. I'll let you guys take your calls. Gina Marie, you having a hoot over there? You're muted, but
because everybody had to answer the phone.
yeah, I know. Meeting is over. Zillow calls are coming in. I can't compete with Flex for good reason. So yeah, pop buys were obviously the thing that we utilized a lot. But again, those were more towards the end of the year. We would do some Easter stuff, but that wasn't as consistent. But then we would do Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. But for the first 3 quarters, we weren't doing much of that. But I did start doing a bit. I did start leveraging it at the end. I was using a service called Client Giant that essentially paid. It was like yearly per client. And they essentially did quarterly drop pop buys for you. They sent pop buys for you. And that was $100 a year per client. So essentially $25 a pop buy, one every quarter. And they did some cool stuff, like more like little plants and little kind of seasonal things and things that were a little more practical to use, like a lot of natural stuff. They would do like little games and stuff during the holidays. I haven't used them in forever since I was in real estate selling, but that was one service we used. And then obviously, as you mentioned, Misty, utilizing your CRM just to kind of organize that and know who to reach out to, when to reach out to them. Do you have, so go ahead, Gina Marie.
There also is, like Leslie does, and Melissa might do it too. A service where they publish a magazine for you. It's really cool. It's like $5 a person, and it gets shipped to them, and you can pick what magazine you want, like home style, lifestyle, like, different ones. And there's a place for them to put your picture on the front. And then when you open it up, you get the cover inside page to where you could edit that and write a note from you or your bio or whatever. And then there's also an insert inside that's that they can rip out, that's like a recipe, or I think that's editable also. And then you also get the back page that you get to do. And the content and the inside of it is colors and homes in 2023 or before and after, you know, it's just all kind of housing. They have them for different things. They also have them for like dentists and stuff like that. But the real estate one is all the content is about homes.
Is this the service and the company that they visited last time I was in town? They did a presentation in the office.
That's right. You were there. We did it during Zoom. I did a panel.
Yeah, well, we
one
did one in person too, where she came in and she brought the magazines in, and then everybody had a few days to order or get on.
I
their
had the
special-
magazines there, yeah, but she was there not from around here.
Okay. What is that service called again? Do you remember? It's like Realty 101 or some.
I still email me. I'll look.
Okay.
I thought it was amazing. I'm like, Wes, we should do this. And he's like, I don't want to get more business. Rah, rah, rah. I'm like, all right.
Good problem to have.
Right.
But that's also because Wes does a really good job nurturing his past clients and SOI, and he stays real connected.
And has done that, right?
Exactly.
Although Wesley can tell you about stories too. Just telling you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we all have them.
You
We all
know,
have
the
'em.
rest of us, right?
And we all have them. And I don't think it's really possible to avoid them in total. Like, you're not going to be able to stay in front of everybody at all times, even if you're doing everything you can. So the idea is obviously just to minimize it and win as many as you can. But I think what might be good, especially Misty, since you're jumping in on this side and getting going, is that you kind of set up something going for. So it was Reminder Media. Reminder Media. There we go.
And that's what the little magazine looks like. Branded magazines.
Branded magazines. So I'll be adding these to like a list, and we'll present this with the video in our YouTube channel with resources and recs and so forth. But since we're kind of a small class today, and Misty, you're just getting going, we can kind of pivot to where setting yourself up for success on this. So I'd say, especially since you got an offer going in, you're going to start having closings. Like the best for me, of course, all this is just my opinion as always, but what I've learned, the best way to give yourself, to tool yourself, to set yourself up for success, to re-engage with your SOI, and more specifically past clients, is just getting as much information as possible prior to close or at closing, whether it be, you know, family members, pets, birthdays, etc. The more you get, the more you can utilize and have reasons to reach out versus just, hey, how you doing? Want to see how you're doing? Do you have any referrals for me? So, you know, having those little personal touches go a long way. They don't always turn, you know, you're not looking for somebody to respond to a birthday text like, hey, I'm ready to sell my house. But you want to stay at top of mind when they are ready. And then a lot of the stuff I'll say today is similar stuff I said in like the video in real estate class or past coaching. It's like social media, great way. I would try to get all my past clients, and as much as my SOI connected on my social media. So therefore I'm not having you have many layers that are helping you stay top of mind. It doesn't require a phone call or a birthday text, but they're also seeing your activity on social media, that like you're doing, Misty, like showing that you're active in real estate. And I think those are my favorites because they're not intrusive. People are scrolling around and you're not interrupting them. They're scrolling and they see stuff that you post. And if they like it or it's interesting and they engage with it, then they'll see more of it. So on that note, it's not always better to just do more of it. You want to make the higher quality or more engaging content will have more success in the long run because more people will see it. More people will engage with it and therefore see it. But also, yeah, like I said, social media, but getting all that information you can for them. And then this isn't really part of this class, but like since it's where you're at and it kind of is all connected, like getting their reviews for sure. You want to build up your reviews online as much as you can. I would say focusing on Zillow and Google being the top two that you'd want to focus on, until maybe if you build out your own Facebook business page, etc. But I don't know. I would have to research that one a little more, because I don't know how many people are really using Facebook as a place to filter out agents and services. I think it's more Google and of course Zillow, since our leads are coming from a lot of leads coming from Flex. So, and then the best time, does anybody know when the best time would be to get reviews from a client? When might be the best time to ask for one?
Right before you close.
Yeah, I'd say that anytime in the, so right before you close is great. Also, another great time is trying to do it before you close for sure. And then maybe even the best time is right when you get like kind of a clear to close. You've got through inspections, you've got through appraisals, all the conditions have been met. That's when they're the happiest. They're like, see the finish line, everything, you know, they see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they're really more willing to provide take a second to review. Once they close, they're moving in, things are moving. Also, things can go wrong at the closing. They all of a sudden, whatever, an issue with the house, something comes up they didn't realize. Things like that can come up after closing, which of course you want to be present and still working on their behalf to make sure it's as smooth as possible, but it can get a little harder to get a review, let alone just a great review. So yeah, I'd recommend, and I'll be making one of those this month in March. I'll create a little template. Everybody will have to plug in their links, and I'll show how to do that, like grabbing your Zillow profile link, your Google profile link, but it will just be a simple template. And of course you guys can adjust it and make it a little more to your liking, your wording, but just a simple template that you can email out from Chime, requesting reviews from Zillow and Google. And then of course, all the templates are editable. So if you want to add other links or, you know, adjust it to your liking, you can. But yeah, that's as important as anything, especially in this day and age with everybody looking. I know whenever I go to do anything, I look at reviews, whether it be a product I'm going to buy or a service, a person I'm going to work with. That's where I'm going to start. And so yeah, building your profile, your online profile out is as well as you can is highly beneficial. And then Misty, do you have any, so I guess good way to start this or continue this, what ideas might you have right now that you're thinking you might want to implement this year as far as engaging past clients, your SOI, your database in general, whether it be, you know, monthly newsletters or, you know, client events or, you know, one-on-one coffees and dinners?
Well, I've really been trying to focus on, first of all, getting everyone kind of like in the Chime so they can get a monthly newsletter from me, and probably gonna be more like a monthly video.
Okay, nice.
You know, so that's the goal, which I plan on doing come March 1st, is just tomorrow. So maybe the second week of March is kind of, so I really focused on getting, you know, people into Chime. Like when I first came on board, just, you know, getting people in there. So at least I have them all in one place.
Nice. And this is like your SOI, people outside of Flex, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Well done. And are you segmenting that at all right now, or just kind of getting them in there at the moment?
No, I'm kind of putting them as my SOI past clients. Okay. So they're separate.
Okay, cool.
But then when I send the monthly newsletter, as long as I tag them correctly, I can send them something and then other clients something also. So that's
cool. Well done.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Well done. Very nice. Good for you. And then, so cool. So you're going to do monthly newsletters, which is great. Great way to stay in touch, especially if you're providing something of value, like market updates, whatever it may be, something that actually pertains to them. And then, yeah, I mean, any way you can educate, I think it's an area we hope to like expand on as we continue kind of building things out on this team. We've been focused more on the back end and systems and processes, but I know it's something me and Gina Marie have been wanting to work on for a while, and hopefully in the coming months can start providing a little more content for you guys to easily use, educational content, whether it be, you know, spring cleaning tips or, you know, tax advice on things like this that are really pertinent to new and existing homeowners. But anything, obviously there's a lot of stuff out there too that you guys can find on your own. I mean, you can literally just Google spring cleaning tips from realtors and find a ton of stuff out there and recreate it on your own and have something to send out. But anything educational value, of course, will have more clout than just your common hello, hey, just want to check in. But those aren't bad either. I mean, they're better than nothing. Little touches. And then, I mean, there's several on the list of stuff that I played with and or wish I had played with when I was in real estate. Like I said, the educational part, tax breaks, refinancing options, market reports, etc., spring cleaning, all that kind of seasonal stuff that you can do as well. CMA offers are always good. We had a lot of success with that in the past. So any buyers that we had that we help purchase homes, offering them every year a CMA, and that's up to you how in depth you want to go. If you want to, you know, really break one down or send a real simple one, like I know in Chime we can send kind of a market update and a market snapshot. It's a little more basic. It doesn't actually calculate. It just shows them comps in the area. And then I think there's a couple services you guys now have that will kind of put together a CMA for you without having to really do the calculations. But I'm guessing those aren't quite as accurate. Just kind of depends what the client's looking for and how much time you have to spend on it. Melissa, are you doing anything right now currently with your past clients or database that you're having success with or hoping to explore more into? And no worries, again, we've all
that's one reason I wanted to be on this one, because I do feel like that's one thing that falls through the gaps a little bit more. I've done the pop buys. I don't do them every single month. I've done where I do my calendar for a magnetic calendar for the year. I get that to my past clients and just, you know, anyone in my SOI. And then, I have a couple of them on HomeBot where they're getting like the analysis every month or whatnot, or to keep track if they click on something. It kind of gives me a little bit of insight on if they've made a big deposit or payment towards their balance. Like, you know, if there's any adjustments to their loans, like if they've refied, obviously no one's refining right now, but like stuff like that, where it kind of keeps where I have an idea where their interest rates are. So that way, if there is a big shift or something that happens in the market, I can immediately reach out to them. I have a couple of them on the past clients. I have a few of them on the market updates, just of like what's sold, because they've asked for that. I don't typically put them on that right away, especially in the last 6 months, because they don't want to hear those numbers. But now that we're going in the upward direction, maybe they'll want to hear it again. So I just kind of do the general stuff that Chime helps me remember, like, hey, it's their 1-year anniversary, or, you know, and I'll reach out to them and just be like, hey, congratulations, and send like a silly like GIF or whatever that says, you know, happy home anniversary. And they always just think that's funny. I try to just do those general things, but I can't say I really feel like I found the one thing that probably because I just haven't been doing it long. I haven't been doing real estate long enough to feel like, oh, this definitely works, right? But I will say from experience of being on the other side, me and my kids loved getting the pop buys from Wes. And so it was just, you know, even though I saw him on a pretty regular basis at our networking group, it was just like that little extra touch that I wasn't just a person that passed through. Like if I were a past client, which I wasn't, but if I were a past client, it wasn't like, oh, she just used me for a paycheck. You know, like that's a feeling I don't want my clients to ever have. So that's just my goal, is to try to keep some sort of communication with them so they don't think I just forgot about them. Like I have a client that closed it was December, it was a year ago. So just over a year. And their daughter actually just got diagnosed with leukemia. You know, so I made a donation to the family GoFundMe, little things like that, just trying to keep in communication and follow her story and just kind of be responsive to whatever's going on in their life. So I try to connect with them on social media, because I feel like for me, that's the easiest way for them to kind of get that, like those, you know, Taco Bell commercial that just like constantly like gets in your face, where they'll start to just kind of see what's happening in my life. So that way, no matter what's happening in theirs, they'll hopefully think of me if something changes and I did fail on any other form of communication. So
Yeah, no, great.
I rely on the social media part to be an extra, but a big component.
So I
Yeah, and
use the
go
HomeBot
ahead.
just like Melissa, and I
Mhm.
did the pop buys with Gina Marie. So I took my most active HomeBot folks, which have literally been looking at my stuff for a year, which I find like absolutely amazing. And I have like 200 people that I don't know, they were all cold. And there's some that just keep opening and opening and open it. So I took my most active and I actually did pop buys for 7.
Oh, cool.
I did 7 and then it started raining. So I still have 3 that I got to get out. But at least that way they're, you know, they've been seeing me all year and now I'm actually dropping something off at their door. I actually knocked on the doors and I wasn't able to get anyone, even though they were probably looking out the door saying, who is this woman and why is she knocking on our door? But I figured that would be a great way to kind of drop the pop buys, because now they're seeing me on, they're opening up my stuff on HomeBot and now I'm, you know, leaving something at their door, try to make it a little warmer.
Nice.
I just thought of the other thing that I did, like I can't believe I forgot about it. Every month I have, but it's kind of my farm, so it's a little bit different than my SOI, but I have some of my sphere of influences also in that farm, where I send out a monthly postcard theme from like Core Fact. And it has like my photo and it has like, this one was a just listed, but normally it's just like an advertisement, like, oh, the market is shifting, or it shows like, you know, some of them has like a cat on it or something silly. And some of it's like, oh, the, you know, inventory's melting away and it shows the ice cream cone on it. And I have pre-selected those for the whole year that go out to my farm every single month. And when they scan this, that's on their card, I know exactly, and I immediately get an email and a phone text that that person that's connected to that address in my farm clicked on it. And then I write them a personal note and I hand deliver it to that house.
Wow, cool. What
So
is this service? What is it?
It's Core Fact. Jeff told me about it.
Cool.
COREFACT.
I like it. Perfect. Okay, very cool. Nice.
And they
Wow,
do
sweet.
stuff, it's marketing specifically for realtors. So, you know, like they're aware of all the legal, like the codes and like the font sizes that have to be certain, you know, like certain things can't be too small. And so they're aware of all of that. And so it's nice because then you're not trying to explain it to like a graphic designer or someone on Etsy or whatever you're trying to do on Vistaprint yourself. Because I've been there, done that, and that was a fail. So I failed forward from that experience.
Yeah. Yeah, well done. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. That's really cool. I like that you do that. And then, so how big is your farm, out of curiosity?
Sorry, say that one more time.
No, how big is your farm, out of curiosity?
That farm is 311 houses. And I have a different farm that I use just via email, like on my HomeBot. And then I'm starting a third farm here in my new neighborhood with Lisa, and we're farming that one together.
Okay, nice. Nice. Farming is the long game. So I don't know if you farm much, Misty, but it is like a very popular, a little more of a traditional way to do real estate, but it still has effect. It still works. It's effective, but it's a long game.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
I tried, well, not tried, but this is what I'm doing. I want to focus more on life changes, divorces, foreclosures. So I had the title company pull, it was like 400 in Contra Costa County. So I had her just pull Discovery Bay to Pittsburgh. It ended up being about 90 people. So I have, she gave me a letter, not too much of a letter, but I have touched them with a text because I paid to get emails and phone numbers. So I touched them I put them all in HomeBot. So I touched them with HomeBot, I touched them with a text. And the goal is to eventually knock, because the notice of default's 90 days out, which was February. And I actually had somebody who got a divorce actually click into my HomeBot and actually was like looking, but their AVM had went up. So I'm thinking they refinanced to buy their spouse out. I wasn't able to get them on the call. I did call them. I wasn't able to get them, but that's what I'm thinking probably happened.
Okay, that makes sense. Did you, with the ones that you did pop buys to your farm, the kind of cold ones, did you text or email or do anything else with them to let them know kind of, because you had to never talk to them, right? They were just
Right.
cold.
They've just been opening up my stuff for about a year. So before I did the pop by, I text them,
Okay, cool.
just
Okay,
the
so,
most active.
okay, so they knew at least who, that you were dropping something by and kind of a little intro other than just the home bots that they've
Right,
been
yeah.
receiving.
And then
Cool.
I had purchased, I don't know, I think like 3,000 homeowners in Brentwood last year, and I never did anything with them, just wasted money. So I've been trying to touch at least 5 people a day.
With
Like,
personal calls or text or email?
text, just
Text.
like some texts, and I have emails for some, but I'm trying to just make sure whether it's my notice of defaults, my divorces, the 3,000 that I got, email and a text. So 10 people a day, right? So 5 texts, 5 emails. And I've been trying to figure maybe like 5 social media, but I'm still kind of like putting that together in my head.
Yeah, who was it? Where did we learn that?
Remember
Just
Les was
recently?
I was in the office with Wes, and he was like 555, but the
Five,
guy's
five, five.
math was all off. It actually ends up being about 975 people a quarter. But when you think about it, even if I hit 10 people a day, right? And I have these leads, I mean, what is it going to hurt? And I've just been highlighting them as I go down, and then
Nice.
I'll just circle back.
Yeah, nice. Oh, nice, especially if you can make it somewhat efficient. Like if you're doing them all the same, you could hopefully
I
more
just
or less copy and paste.
cut and paste,
Yeah.
cut and paste, cut and
Add a
paste.
personal name, you're good to go. Nice. Oh,
I
very
love
nice.
how you have a niche, life changes. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's super good to niche down. I like kind of denied this idea when I first got into real estate because I just thought I could do it all at once. I remember that was my biggest problem when I first got in. I'd go to these big conferences, like Keller Williams had these big what they call it, like family reunion, and go learn about Twitter and Facebook and this and that and LinkedIn and doing open houses and doing cold calls. And then I'd come back with like 1,000 ideas and not ever do any of them really good because I do a little bit of here and there. And then thankfully, I ended up finding my niche was just cold calling. I would get, and honestly, that's not part of like this topic, but if any, I think this might not be a bad, it's like, it was a good time, I think, for about a month. And then now I'm not sure. You could probably still catch a lot of them that were on the market during the holidays and went off and now are considering going back on, but that ended up being my little niche. And then kind of led into a couple others, but no, it's one I wish I had made my past client and SOI focus more of my niche, but yeah, that's cool that you have something you can focus on and really hone in on. So I think as far as the other like things I had written down, kind of noted for this, I think a lot of you guys are either know about it or doing some of it or have considered it. I would say the biggest successes I had were the lunches and dinners. Anytime I got a hold of somebody, because you get time with them, you really get to connect on a personal level, and especially after the closing. So it's not about real estate, but usually your clients are going to be really interested about what you're doing in real estate, what you think about the market. A lot of clients that you sell houses to are going to be, even if they don't end up investing, they're going to be considering investing. They bought real estate, so they understand the concept, and a lot of them are going to be interested. And I think the more you can kind of educate them, if it's a good market to invest in, or there's good opportunities, you can also open up their horizons to that if they hadn't strongly been considering it. But that was where and I'm not saying that's the best way, it was just where I had the best success, probably because it was the one thing I did pretty good with my past clients, is the dinners, lunches, dinners, even coffees. And then I think you can make it things I didn't do that I wish I'd done, are real simple stuff I just didn't think about. Like if I'm showing a house in their neighborhood, might as well just pop them a little audio text. Hey, just drove by your house, was showing in the area, thinking of you guys. Hope everything's great. Would love to connect soon. Boom. At least you did that. Even if you don't have dinner with them, you're putting it out there. You're showing interest that you're thinking about them more than a sale. And I think those are really easy to do because you're out showing real estate a lot. And to be honest, like I don't recommend lying a lot, but you don't have to really be in the neighborhood. You could just say, I was out showing houses and I was just out showing houses and I thought of you guys. Like they don't know where you were showing or what you did or didn't think of. So little things like that. Like Melissa said, the home anniversaries, you can have fun with those, and they're cool. People like to, I mean, of course, it's nice to celebrate little milestones. And then social media, like we covered, holidays and pop buys. Quarterly phone calls are pretty suggested. Like I would recommend it. At least a quarterly touch would be recommended, like for whether it be an email, text and phone call probably better, or audio text or videos. If you're doing great on videos, do that. Gina Marie, what you got? Sorry, I didn't realize your hand was up.
So I'm curious if
during the season stuff will
like you guys do like a survey with your people, or how do you keep that? Is that Monica I hear next to you, Mitzi?
Yeah, like he always
You can't hear. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm curious, like, do you guys have, do you gather data from them? Like they're gonna have a baby, you know, and then maybe touch base with them towards the end of the pregnancy, or anything like that you're gathering from them? And how do you do it without feeling like an interrogation?
I haven't had anybody going through that phase of life, like with marriage or babies, like something that is like a hard deadline that's going to be coming. So I haven't had that, but I have tried using that form that the O'Malley team provided us with last year about, like, you know, getting to know you and trying to get them to fill out about their children, their pets, like just to find favorite things to help it make it easier for gift giving and stuff like that. And I've never had one person fill it out. So clearly I'm not doing it enough yet, or I'm not good at it. So I'm still working on that. And then, but I tend to just make notes when I first meet them, first talk to them, every time, like those first several meetings. In between houses, I'm making notes about like little things that, oh, my wife hates swimming, like we would never get a pool, or, you know, little things like that might help me just get to know them better. So I don't really have a lot of hardcore, you know, baby deadlines or anything like that to go off of. Or if they're like, oh, we're going on a trip, like I'll make a note and I'll follow up with them like, hey, how was your trip? Hope it was good. And typically I don't hear back from them, but just more of just having something to talk about besides data and market, you know?
Hey, would you mind, do you have that form? Could you send that to me?
It's in the toolbox.
Is it? Okay.
And actually, what I'm gonna put on the newsletter for this month is one, trying to figure out how to do it to communicate it to all of you guys. Brittany does this, and it's a client assessment. She calls it a client assessment. And I believe what she does is she has it on her phone because she's created it herself. And like I do for you guys when I'm gathering information about our meetings, right? Like an RSVP thing, but she's created these questions and she puts them in there and keeps all that information for herself. So you could scroll through all of your individual clients and get all of their answers to what's the dog's name and everything. I think it would work really well if you had kind of like, and I'll have to look at her assessment, but if it wasn't like super long to where you're handing it to them to fill out, because I get that, Melissa, that's, I know when I did that with the agents, you were one of the only ones that filled it out. It was like, you know, what's the husband's spouse's name? What are the kids' names and stuff like that? Because I have that for the agents. But and we do it now on onboarding, and they, you know, they'll fill it out themselves. But I think if you had just some small questions that you did yourself, that might actually be something you kind of work into a conversation and then note it afterwards. But I was just thinking it'd be nice for you guys to have it kept in a place to where you could then make sure that, you know, you put it on your CRM to remind you of certain times or whatever.
You got me thinking about some ideas on this because I want to check out the one O'Malley has and Brittany's because I think, yeah, if you could get it to where it's digital, like a Google form, and you essentially use the same form for everybody. And also the way it's delivered might be like, it's probably better to do it in that initial process. And it might even be something where, you're trying to get their criteria, but you also want to learn a little more about them. But the way you present is like, hey, we just love to do fun stuff for birthdays and acknowledge things outside of real estate and get to know, connect with you on a real level. You don't want to like intrude too much, but anything you're willing to share, would love to know more about you. And then you kind of have just anything they can just like select options versus like filling out or wondering how to edit it online and fill in boxes, where those are things people might get stuck on, or if they're not all comfortable with tech like that they might just avoid doing it. And then probably, yeah, I'm going to check it out. It's in the toolbox, so I'll check that out. And then did Brittany share hers with anybody, by the way?
I have it all. I'm putting this in the chat box right there so you can see that all about you.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, sweet. Oh, I need access for it though.
I think this is one that I filled out. I just Googled it on, I'm not, I just typed it in on my thing, but this is what it looks like.
It required access, so I submitted a request for access to it.
Oh, okay.
But cool, I'll check those out, and I think that'd be it, because that is the start. Like the more information you can have, then you can utilize it in all these other kind of platforms or methods that we've been talking about. So it'd be kind of cool to put something together that was a little easier for y'all to use and for the consumer to actually provide information that you can then take and run with in whichever form or forms you want to.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful when you're trying to think of gifts or like what not to gift somebody, right? And it's easy when you're working with a client for a very long time because you start to get to know a lot about them. But when you have, like, I have one Zillow lead I just got in contract this month. I went out with him one time.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get to know him, I knew a little bit about him. And then, during inspections, I got to finally meet his daughter and little things, and I was trying to make small talk with her, like, well, what's your favorite subject at school, or what, without feeling like I'm interrogating this young teenager, like, what's your favorite color? Because if I was going to gift her something, maybe I could gift something in her favorite color, so it's hard when you don't have a lot of interaction with them.
Agreed.
So, and I think you have to read the person, right? Like, there's some of our clients that are very tech savvy, so the Google Doc would work great for them. And then I have others, they're like, I don't even know where that email is. I'm like, I sent it yesterday, and then can you just resend it? And they're like, I'm not very tech savvy, so you realize, but that's really cool. I like that you're showing us right now. Oh, this is from Brittany.
Okay, cool. So this is more criteria, right? This isn't like personal client stuff, I think.
Okay. So
but that is the idea.
This is the idea. How long have they been looking? How soon do they need a home? Do you own now? Special requirements? But I was thinking it would be cool to add things in here that's like, special things to know for you. She's pregnant, or they want to have a big family. I don't know, like just personal stuff, like Melissa was saying, so that you could look back and all of this information goes to you and you have this form. And then, you could time block times where you're taking that information and kind of going through it and putting it in your CRM. Another thing that I am trying to work on for you guys, I'm going to run it by leadership. And I'm not sure how to do it, but it might be something that would help all of you guys. This would come from WR, and it's like a closing concierge, where after the fact, Wes would write a handwritten note from, the owner of the company kind of thing. And then have somebody call up and just say, hi, I'm with WR Properties. I know Melissa sold your home last month and you're all settled in. I just wanted to know if you're all, do you have any questions? Do you need a referral for a hairdresser? Do you have any special dates that are coming up that you need help planning with, as far as like venues and restaurants, or, like a concierge of like your city? Don't know how that would look, but I was thinking that would be a great way to set us apart from other real estate agencies.
Wow.
So I have done, you're making me remember some of the things I've done. So when I've done like a little closing thing for one of my clients, they're moving from out of state to here. They had a little boy. I got Anthony that owns the jumping company. I got he put together a little package that had bubbles and just little things in it, and then his advertisement, and it was a coupon for a jumper. So like if they wanted to do something with the neighborhood, or if he had an upcoming birthday, that they could utilize that coupon. I've put together little other things from, which I know when you move, you get bombarded from like AT&T and all of that stuff. But sometimes by then they've already figured all that stuff out. So I try to put together little packages with, contact information for that. Kind of like when you're moving into a new construction home too, they put together all this information of like, here's your PG&E company, here's this, some of those like checklist items that get lost in the whole thought process of moving. That would be kind of cool to add into a concierge thing too, just little things.
Yeah.
Because we have so many connections in, at least for here, right? In this neighborhood, this community, like, a little coupon for a sip and scoop or something like that, where just be like, get to know your community. And then if we had an event coming, like if we had a quarterly or something, an event coming that WR is hosting, like the chili cook-off, that could be added into that little concierge package, like come get to know us and our families. We'll be there too. Something like that. That would be really cute.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how we could manage it. Because I know that
that's all you.
hairdressers move and, and all of that kind of stuff. But I think a person, because I know that when we moved, like there was stuff everywhere. There was paper everywhere. I could see how a checklist could be lost. I do like the idea of a magnet, because then there's a probably better chance that it's not going to be a lost piece of paper. But if we had somebody calling up and just checking in on them and just seeing how everything was, so that they didn't feel like they were forgotten, a month after or whatever,
Right. I think the hard part is it's kind of so personalized. How do you make a generic checklist that you wouldn't have to personally be constantly revamping for different things? So you kind of would have to either have multiple options, like someone that's coming in from out of the area or out of state, what kind of things are they going to need, versus someone that's staying in the community and moving from Oakley to Brentwood. You're going to have different things that they're going to need.
And
I'm pretty sure it's time to get those roots covered, which is why I'm almost wearing a beanie.
Right.
And then, you could get them connected with and have like your VIP vendors, like we have for our agents, kind of have your VIP hair salon, where to go get cars tuned up. Like they have great, all about great service type of people. That would be pretty cool, but it would be, a whole separate job.
Be able to get the agents to participate, you know what I mean? And maybe something like that list that Brittany created, but for us. And maybe it could even be dual, like you're gathering that information for you so that you could do your CRM stuff, but it also gets a copy to leadership so that we could personalize our phone call to them. It's so crazy. Like you get so excited if you call a business and you get a human being anymore. It's always click this number for this and press this for that. To talk to an actual human being is a super special thing. So and honestly, if we could get the agents to participate with it all, right now, the transactions are not like it's 100 a month. You know what I mean? To where, somebody would be calling 100 people. I just got to figure out how to manage it and then present it to leadership and see if it's something that we can, grab onto,
Definitely like the idea. There's a lot to consider and kind of, coordinate and so forth, but I like the idea a lot. And if we're talking about this more in our leadership stuff, but like disrupting the industry, these are little things that you can start doing to separate yourself that aren't being done by anybody. That would go a long way if we could put it together in a way that it wasn't a whole nother company we needed to run it. But
I know, and I think with our vast group, right, and the diversity of, I feel like there's so many connections. I mean, gosh, just between Jean Marie and Wes alone, but just like connections into the community that you could like, hey, here's, some events that are coming up at Campos, or there's the music nights in Brentwood. There's all these free events that people don't even know about, which is one reason people love it out here. So when someone comes from like San Mateo, they have no idea that stuff really exists. Like where I grew up, they didn't have music nights in the park. Like, you didn't go to the park, okay? Like that's not what people did. That was some naughty stuff happened there. So like you just don't go there. So it's just a whole different world that people love and they gravitate towards that out here. So if someone is moving out here, that would be a huge thing to be able to and to give business, right? To give back to campus or something like that would be a different thing. Like, hey, Friday nights, this is one of the things that goes on at Campos. There's a lot of ways that we could branch out to, hey, let's support, supporting new businesses in the area. It could take off really crazy, which is where, like Jean Marie's brain, like going like this right now, to like keep it under control, right? And not overwhelm.
Well, but then potentially they're going to be promoting us too. You actually align with them and kind of a dual thing there, a back and forth reciprocal thing.
Yeah.
All right, you got me thinking about a lot of stuff now. Didn't think I would come out of this with my brain. That's a really interesting idea. I like it a lot. I'm definitely want to explore more of that with you. Sweet. Well, you guys rock. We've gone a little over time. Does anybody have any questions? Anything they want to add in before we close this one out for the day? Gina Marie, I'll definitely be reaching out to talk to you more about this.
I just love popping into these things because I always get great insight from what you guys might need or what we could do. And it really gets my wheels going. You guys are awesome.
Same. I come in here to hold a little coaching, but I end up always leaving with stuff that I didn't even think about or blown away with what I get from everybody participating. So thank you guys for jumping in and being so willing to share and open up on everything. Melissa, are you good? Do you have any questions on anything at the moment?
No, I'm good. Yeah, okay. Sorry for jumping off. One of my escrow clients called me, so I was like, I gotta answer this.
No worries at all. That's
and then I'm like, oh gosh, my video's on. I need to turn that off so I'm not distracting them like on the phone.
No worries at all. I get it. No, you guys got your priorities, so well done. Well, thanks for jumping on, all of you, for jumping on and sharing. You're so welcome. You'll have a great day. Feel free as always to reach out to us with any questions or any way else we could support you. And otherwise, I will see. Well, I won't be at the meeting tomorrow in person, but I'm sure I'll be seeing you guys soon this week. And have a great week.
Okay, bye, Patrick.
All right, see you later, Melissa. Bye, Misty. Good luck with that call.